Good evening and welcome. I'm Bob Pace. I'm your host. Tonight is Saturday night, June 29th, almost into the 4th of July. Next month, we celebrate our independence from Great Britain. And I'm not sure how many years, but it was 1776. So 1776 from 2024 will tell you how many years it is. That's a good question. See how good you are with your math. How many years do you think it's been since we've been independently from Great Britain? And I'll cheat because I'll put in my calculator. So 2024 minus 1776. That's 248 years. We're almost at 250 years old. We are a young country. You know, you think about other countries like Egypt has been around forever. Israel. You know, Russia has been around forever. Ukraine, all these countries. Look at Europe, United Kingdom. Look at England. It's been around. You know, you look at Rome and Greece. We're only 248 years. Boy. And right now we have an agency that is very corrupt. And I'm here to help you. I'm a loving father. I have 6 kids. I've been married 32 years. I'm a family man. My family comes first. And I've tried my hardest to take care of my family. I have 6 children. 3 of them are older and 3 of them are younger. My youngest now is 18. Then it jumps to 21 and almost going to be 22. And then 24 and he'll be 25 soon. Then it jumps up to 30. I have 36 and 38. And then my oldest is 46. So it's 3 boys, 3 girls. And unfortunately, CPS stole one of my girls. They kidnapped my girls and brainwashed her. And now she's completely cut out of her life. And it's sad. I know what you're going through. CPS is not fun. The child protection system is a rogue agency. It's gone wild. It's all about money. They're worse than the IRS. And if you haven't experienced them, all you have to do is see the examples I talk about. But I want to welcome you all to this live podcast. You found me on Facebook. And I'm broadcasting on YouTube and using the StreamYard application. And let me go ahead and make sure some people get noticed because the notification is sometimes a little slow. So I try to let my people know that I'm on. Okay. All right. So I let my special people know. Okay. I've invited people on our podcast. Danielle's my co-host, but she has computer glitch, and so she's not on with you right now. Faye is someone that comes in regularly, and she'll be joining us shortly. Now, there's several ways you can interact with this podcast. You can call in to my office number, 626-698-0990. And I'll put you on speakerphone, and we can talk about your case. So it's very comfortable if you like to call in. Now, another way you can, we got someone coming in the room, and there it is, Faye. She's here. Good girl. Faye is from Richmond, Kentucky, a wonderful mother who's struggling and to try to protect her only child left in custody. She lost her daughter like I did. So it's a terrible feeling to have someone you create and you love for all those years and suddenly taken away. Now, besides calling in, you can also text in comments. Now, I enjoy hearing from everybody, not only in the United States, but all around the world. So when typing in the comment, it should be something about CPS, a CPS question or concern you have. Also, please show your name, your city, state, or country, and be complete with your CPS case. It's hard if you play ping pong ball. As you know, it goes back and forth, and it can take a long time. So start off with your case at the very beginning. If it involves multiple children, tell how many, and there's multiple fathers or multiple mothers or whatever. Talk about it, and then tell me how it started and then where you're at. And then we'll try to fix or do a remedy or help you some way. I have been in CPS a long time. I've been fighting them for almost 15 years. Um, I had them for 3 years that abducted my family, half of my family. And they weren't in extreme danger. They were in school. That was called extreme danger. They put them in extreme danger because they put them in the foster care system, which does not protect your children. My children, when they were taken, spent the first night in a shelter that was cold, overcrowded, dirty. And it was next door to the juvenile prison, and their play yard was next to the juvenile's play yard. So they could exchange things back and forth. And so it was sad. They were disrupted from a home that they were used to, where they got fed and they went to school and they had their own bedroom. Instead, they were put in there with very tight quarters, very dirty. They didn't have a dinner. It was terrible. And their idea of school, by the way, was to read a book to them. Well, my kids were all in the STEM program where they took a science class, technology class, engineering class, a math class. So, CPS hurt their education. CPS, starved them. And in CPS, they got molested and physically abused. I thought they're supposed to protect you. I thought social workers are supposed to protect your family. They didn't. They didn't. Now, oops, I lost my picture. There we go. So when you type in a comment, make sure it's about CPS. We're here to talk about CPS, the Child Protection System, which is a branch of social services. And it's supposed to protect our children from neglect and abuse and do family reunification, not alienate the children, not traffic the children, not make money off them. That's what CPS is doing to your children. And if you haven't guessed by now, all you have to do is go to the year 2022, look on the internet, look up the pink ladies that wore t-shirts in Prescott, Arizona. The Department of Children's Services was what their CPS system is called. And they created t-shirts. And on the front of the t-shirt, it said, professional kidnappers. Professional kidnappers. What does that mean to you as parents? And on the back of the shirt, they said, do you know where your children are at? And they went and paraded these t-shirts, these 8 social workers, through Walmart and other department stores. They were caught, they were busted, and the director busted. There went 25 years of social work experience out the door, all because of their stupidity. But that's the mentality that social workers have. They're not going to be your friend. They're going to mislead you. They're going to make promises they can't keep. They're going to try and make you sign paper, try to admit things. They want your child. Why? They want to traffic your child into the foster care so they get money. They do trafficking, which is against the law. They do kidnapping, which is against the law. They do alienation, which is against the law. And they break it. They're not cared. They don't care about your civil rights or your constitutional rights. They'll take your children, and that seems to be the norm, whether in imminent danger or not. So you got to be really careful of these animals. I mean, they are really sad. They're really sad. Now, besides Faye join the room, we have um, KK. Now, she's from New York. That is KK. Welcome, KK. And oh no, they're trying to terminate your rights. I thought you got that under control, KK. You need to give us an update how they're trying to terminate your rights. KK has been in this room a long time. She went back and got a law degree, and she is a dependency attorney. It's almost you have to be an attorney to understand the child protection system. It's so corrupt. And so I want you all that, are listening in closely because there's some things the people in the room can share with and I can share with you. I have 4 rules that will help you that I too was uh, in trouble with the child protection system. Now, besides the commenting them and the phone number, which I've shown, a third way to interact is to be a guest on the show. And to be a guest on the show, you will contact my show producer. Her name is Grace, and she'd gladly help you be put on the show. She'll give the link to SteamYard and tell you what to do. And all you have to do is pick out one of the 14 shows. I'm on Monday through Sunday at 10 o'clock in the morning, except Sunday I'm on at 8 o'clock in the morning. So tomorrow morning I'll be on at 8. And I'm on at night at 7 p.m. And that's 1 hour and Pacific Standard Time. And I'd love for you to be a guest on the show. So text in to Grace at vincentwdavis.com. That's Grace at vincentwdavis.com, and she'll gladly put you on my show. So that's the third way. So I said a phone call. I told you about texting. And, when I say from countries, I've had so far Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, Ghana from South America. They're like east of Venezuela, north of Brazil. Then I've had Mexico, and then I've had Mozambique in the east part of Africa, above South Africa, below below Somalia, and west of Madagascar. So that is another country that has called in. I've had Denmark and Europe call in. I've had Liberia, the west coast of Africa, call in, and Archie that calls in all the time. And he is a scouter. He does the scout program. It used to be called the Boy Scouts. Now it's called the Scout because they allow girls now in the program. And so, let me see, I had Rwanda in East Africa. And then lately I had Sweden. Sweden is the newest one that's called. So I've had over 10 countries talk about how CPS is in their country, and it's not good news. So whether you're from the States or from the country, please, put in your comments. Love to hear from you. Or if you want to be on the show, email grace at vincentwdavis.com. Now I'm going to put back the my phone number as soon as I can find it here. Let me see here. There we go. Call in my number, 626-698-0990, and I'll answer you on the phone. There's no problem whatsoever. So Akima, who's from New York, says, I don't know what wrong with your phone. I'm trying to call Lynn. Are you trying to call me, KK? Let me go ahead and set up my phone, make sure it's okay. Hold on 1 second here. I'm going to go mute. Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know why You were having problems on my phone, but you're coming through loud and clear, KK.
Okay, so let me just kind of like bring you up to speed.
Okay, okay.
We had.
Can you stop for a second so I can explain to the audience who you are? KK is from New York. She's been on my show. She's talked about her case. She thought she was getting better by getting her kids back, but she'll explain to you where she's at. She's a wonderful mom. She's become an attorney, but in New York, the child protection system is awful. So go ahead and bring us up to speed, KK.
Okay, so as you know, like I told you, I think it was yesterday, the day before, that I was unable to go to the graduation. My 8-year-old birthday is actually tomorrow. I'm unable to communicate with them to say happy birthday, to say congratulations, anything. And I have reached out to the foster care agency to express to them that I wanted an ICPC started. And they told me, based on the children being in the foster parents' home for over a year, that they are domiciled and they're planning to do a preservation of placement to fight me against relatives taking my child.
Now, you're the biological mother, are you not?
I'm sorry?
You're the biological mother, right?
Correct. And I was going to have my sister, the maternal aunt, who was the original foster parent 10 years ago with the same agency, which has a conflict of interest. And now it's like they want to have an FTC, a family team conference on the 1st to meet the FAFSA guidelines for New York City. And if I don't attend, they're going to move forward with the goal change to adoption, but doesn't mean they're going to adopt. You got, like, come on, miss me with the crap.
Well, wait a minute. Isn't the biological parent the best parent? Isn't the biological parent the best parent to be with?
No, because she's not a family friend. She's not a relative. She's literally...
No. The biological parent. That is you, KK.
Yes. And I, with all my rights intact, I have requested an ICCC based on my sister being the maternal aunt, also a foster parent that was my children were in kindergarten with 10 years ago, and based on the children being in the foster home they're in for the last 503 days now, that they are domiciled and they seem to be therapeutically at rest, because for some reason every time they have visits with me, they start out productive, they become explosive, so they say. This is the hearsay they're getting from I don't know where, but they have never collaborated with my resources for visits or the wellness of my children, nor the advocacy or services I've been, requesting.
Well, okay.
They have suspended all my reunification, Bob. Like, we don't go back to court until September 17th, and September 5th will be my FAFSA timeline for the 22 months in care.
Okay. Let's back up. You were close to getting this resolved. What happened?
Oh, I told you my children decided to, report to their attorney that every time I'm around them, they feel stressed out. They are suffering academically.
Okay.
They have social anxiety, and the way I interact with the foster parents, who they call grandma, the way I interact with grandma, I'm calling the cops and I'm calling CPS all the time and making drama in a good foster home because I don't have any friends.
Well, okay.
I don't even know what else to do other than surrender my rights to my sister in order to be able to fight to get them back, because the foster care agency, Bob, is not helping me. And before they TPR me, I'd rather just surrender and be able to work at my leisure with my family on my side. They finally stepped in. Better late than never, but again.
Well, what does your children want?
Well, my 11-year-old wants to be with family, but my 8-year-old, who's going to be 9 tomorrow, wants to stay with grandma because she's, blinded by the glitter and glamour of, the toys and the brides and, you know how that goes. So if you stay here,
You might explain, KK, who grandma is. Grandma's not her paternal grandmother. It's a lady that is a foster care woman, and she wants to take care of her, and they call her grandma. And so what's happened is that your children now have been poisoned by the people around your children.
And Mr. Pace, they are displaying, they have, to my knowledge, I don't know how true it is, my child, Tara, pulled me out of concern, disclosing to me that grandma and her son and her daughter were fighting in front of my children. And when I brought this to the foster care agency's attention, they told me, well, we didn't know about that. I said, well, you know now. And she just, like, as supervisor, she looked at me and she said, I guess we'll investigate, but have you signed a HIPAA? Mr. Pace, I don't understand what a HIPAA has to do with me complying with service as far as mental health. I have supplied compliance letters. I have even had a 3-way phone call with the supervisor of the department where I receive therapeutic service. And this case planner from the foster care agency decided to give me a referral. I'm thinking it's for trauma-based therapy, something I've been begging for 14 months. She literally was not listening again. She gave me an individual referral for psychotherapy so she can get verification. When already in service, Mr. Pace, this is last year, May.
Okay. And
I signed the HIPAA April 4th and just revoked it last week. But this is what I mean. Everything is at their leisure when they feel like it, but they have suspended all communication, all visits, but want to come to my home and do a safety check for what?
Yeah. But what grounds are they trying to terminate your rights? What grounds are they trying to terminate your rights?
Based on mental instability and erratic behavior, based on me causing the children to destabilize, and every visit that I have starts out productive and it ends up explosive. I don't know how that's possible. I have pictures and documentation.
Well, the children are stressed out by the whole episode being bounced around.
Yes.
And I think what the problem is early on you had a relative with them.
Yes.
And they were bounced from you to the relative. Now they're bounced into foster care, and they're bounced around and made promises. The children are really confused.
They are, but what I explained to them was, if they would speak to their guardian ad litem and express to them that they want to go with TT, which is my sister that lives in Georgia, from the very beginning, because I told the foster care agency that I didn't have any familiar support at that time based on me and my family's trauma separation within our dynamic, that did not mean I could not be humble or cordial enough to have my children comfortable in their familiarity with family.
Yeah.
But you so dead set on putting them with a person that I had no communication with, no friendship, no ties, and every time the foster parent violates foster parent laws in New York City, because there are 10 things in New York City a foster parent cannot do by law. And she has violated 6 of those. And every time I point those things out, my interaction is restricted, or I'm being looked at as, the person causing trauma or instability based on erratic behavior. No, they're mistaken my passion for aggression because they are so used to me being that combative person that they don't understand that I am using my coping skills and support from my treatment plan to minimize any safety concerns. I'm working my treatment plan.
Oh boy. See, the problem you have is the kids have turned against you.
Yeah.
And that being said, that is a hard thing.
But I was listening to some of the audio conversations I had with my children, over the removal from the very beginning up until May 6th when the visits were canceled. And, once my child got there, after the foster parent messed up with the second placement that they're in now, She left me unsupervised 10 times because she knew I wasn't a danger. But I also was penalized because I knew I wasn't supposed to be unsupervised, and I could have been held in contempt as well. But after that, the foster parent became extremely resistant. Anytime that I had a visit, she was allowed to change my visit. I was not given a makeup visit, nor was I, given an alternate day. It's like she says she's going out of town and never leaves, and then there's no reprimand. They use the prudent parent law to just violate my parenting time. They owe me well over 140 hours plus parenting time.
Let me see if I ask the room. Maybe the people in the room. We got Faye from Richmond, Kentucky. What you think that she should do? Everybody who's listening, can you offer some suggestions to KK in New York? She has a situation where her children have turned against her, and now they're trying to terminate her rights. She still wants her children. She still loves her children. But what are some suggestions that you all can make out there that can help out KK? All you guys that are listening, if you could type in a comment or help her out, help me out. I'm trying to help her. I don't think she should ever give up. But the same token, I don't know if you want to keep pressing and pressing where the children are going to definitely rebel. So maybe if you be low key for a bit, the children will come around. I don't know.
Mr. Faithful, I don't understand this. I have requested family trauma therapy for over 14 months. The services that my children have as far as therapeutic as well as myself, I implemented way prior to the removal. They have not implemented any respite, any didactic therapy as far as community inclusion because both of my children have special needs. One is emotional disturbance and the other one has autism with Asperger's syndrome, so she's very high functioning, but she's very isolated. And, it's to the point where the court order says I'm allowed to be involved in medical visits because my rights are still, I am the legal guardian. But the foster care agency decided to step in and designate another payee for my children's Social Security dependent benefits.
Yeah.
But what they don't realize is, according to Social Security law in any of the United States, if the children are temporarily placed, you cannot touch a federal financial institution without that authority when you are the physical guardian and not the legal guardian.
Yeah.
So you took an authority that you had no right to impose on, and that is a federal situation with a state authority that you have no right to do that. But you said I discontinued therapeutic service for my children. No. When y'all interrupted those financials that paid those premiums because I don't have state insurance, I have union insurance.
Yeah.
Those premiums from their dependent benefits, because I am disabled right now, they are my dependents. And if they're not in my care as dependents, there is no designated payee. The money just becomes cold. There's no payee. That is against the law. You cannot have a payee for benefits of dependents that are not dependent on that dependent.
Okay. I'll take your word for that. I don't know for a fact, but I'll take your word.
Also in New York State, I stated to the foster care agency.
Okay.
If you come to my home, there are no children here. All visits have been suspended. So if you come here to do a safety check, it is not a safe situation. And New York State law states if you are up to date on rent, there are no arrears. You are the lease or head of household in this habitat or this live-in dwelling, and you feel threatened, menaced, intimidated, or unsafe in any way, you can protect your home by any means, i.e. using excessive force. So I just relayed New York State law. If you come in here and you make me feel uncomfortable, I can protect my home by any means, and it would not be safe for you to do a safety check when there are no safety concerns. So I think it's safer for you to do it outside where there are witnesses because you have not stepped up and actually advocated on the productive things out of the best interest of my child as far as the visit that the case planner has supervised.
Yeah.
But yet, you can restrict me and tell me to sign a HIPAA when I really think that he is concussed for something as the case planner because you had a whole conversation that you told me you never had, and I just asked her if she wanted me to upload the audio to whose email. Now she wants to hang up. She doesn't want communication. Now, But in New York State, you don't have to relay that you're recording anybody if one party is privy to the recording, and that would be myself, Mr. Pace.
Right. Faye, have you got any ideas that might help out KK? Faye, if you can hear me, Faye, in Richmond, Kentucky.
I tried to check to see if I could surrender my rights to a relative while we're doing fact finding. I was not too sure because I didn't find any case for, but I'm still searching. Because I know you can surrender your rights to I just don't know if I can do it during fact finding.
Well, I would not surrender my rights. I would never give up on that.
No, I was going to do it with my sister.
I don't care if it was my sister or brother. I would not surrender my rights to my children.
Well, I'm not saying surrender them, well, I understand, maybe I'm wording it wrong.
Okay.
Before they're trying to terminate my rights, because everybody is under the assumption within my dynamic of my case that, the social worker can't do that. Okay, evidently we've seen that they don't care. It's being done. I'm living it. So I have to try to be 2 steps ahead of them. So if they're trying to TPR me on the 1st at 3 o'clock, and we don't go back to court until September, they can put in an order to show cause, but does not mean it's going to be admissible. But still, it is a motion that was put in, so that is something that is on the table.
Yeah.
So I cannot, let that go unnoticed, even if it's not made admissible or heard. That means that's something on the back end. So once the fact finding is, determined, or whether I'm guilty or proven innocent, that's when they're going to smack that motion back on the table as part of CPR, based on the restriction of reunification or the discontinuance.
And what's going to happen on Monday? You said there's something on Monday that's going to come down.
So Monday is our family team conference, but it's also, they told me it was a 6-month update, update. No, it's a goal change conference. And the goal is to change to adoption. So if you're telling me as the supervisor of the foster care agency, that's not, it may not happen that way if you do everything you have to do. The only thing that was illustrated on my parenting plan was therapeutic service, and I've been involved in that all my life. Never was out of it. So the fact that my children were removed illegally, you kidnapped them based on me being of sound in mind after I got an evaluation the same day of the removal, they should have never been detained, especially not this long. Everything that I have advocated for or enforced as far as my parental, civil, educational, therapeutic, and medical rights as a biological parent with my rights intact. Everything that I have done in the wellness of my children, you have restricted any interaction and make it seem like I am the unstable one. But you got to be kidding me. This right here is psychological warfare, and you can make somebody spiral if they didn't have the willpower that I have. You have a person in my complex history. I'm battling mental health issues, substance abuse history, and now medical issues. You are physically, emotionally, and mentally breaking me down and pushing me toward a relapse. But I love my children more than drugs itself, and I would never work this hard to go back to that and give those people that power. And that's what they're trying to do, and I really think it's unfair.
Yeah, I concur.
In the words of Mr. Trika Jones, transparency transforms, and my truth is my biggest downfall. I tell the truth so much that it turns around to bite me in the ass, and excuse my expression.
Okay. Well, I am puzzled because I'm not hearing anything from Faye. Faye, can you hear me? Faye from Richmond, Kentucky. She's still having a computer issue. But Faye, you're not saying anything. I thought maybe you have a suggestion. Faye, can you talk to us?
Did Carol ever come back? Is she ever coming back?
Who?
Miss Carol.
Carol who?
She came on. She was one one of the not social workers. She was one of the advocates from
Oh yeah. I haven't heard from Carol. I know who you're talking about too now. She was from Indiana. She was from Indiana, I think it was. That was
Indiana.
that was, let me see if I still have it. Carol Kine, Keihn. And
is that her email, or does she go by that with email as well?
That is her name. Her email is, well, I know her YouTube is. I don't see her email here.
Right. Well, it's possible to have her YouTube. I'll reach
here.
out.
What I'll do is I'll give you a copy of the link. And
okay,
then
cool.
and then what you can do is follow the link. Now the copy is going to appear in all my rooms that are following me. So when I put it out, it's going to repeat 7 times.
Oh, okay.
Because it's going to be put in all the rooms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It went 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 times.
Okay, I got it. I already copied and pasted.
Yep, that's her YouTube page, her web page.
I'm looking at, even to the point where even my attorney now is telling me once, the fact finding is over, I need to immediately file civil litigation because I have one hell of a lawsuit.
Yeah, I know.
Allow visitation to the presumed father with that is actually the safety concern with no allegations against him, evading the law for over a year on a murder charge. You gotta be kidding me. But I'm the unsafe one.
Wow.
Yeah. They gave my ex-husband visitation with a child that was not biologically his, which means that criminal order trumps the family order based on their having no DNA connection. And he was the one that initiated the child endangerment by blacking her eye. I don't understand. And then he's still having interaction with them because now that I have no interaction or no communication, he is reaching out from jail and the foster parent is allowing it. And I'm still getting information from other entities, but now that school is closed, I don't have that option anymore. So, it was good while it lasted.
Yeah.
Mr. Faith, any of the appointments that are in person for my children, this foster parent has changed to telehealth and will sneak under the radar to bring them in for blood work or any type of test. I have to hawk their mind charts, and you constantly violating court orders that you're telling me having visits with the children is not in their best interest because for some reason every visit has to end up in therapeutic evaluation. It's amazing how that's the case when the foster parent sent my child to school in active crisis and nobody was reprimanded for that because she was sleep deprived. So that's adequate guardianship. That's what I want my children to say.
Yeah.
Because she didn't getting me sleep, it was a right to put my child with hearing voices on the school bus. And the president of the foster care agency to tell me out of her mouth, well, we all, we didn't get it was a sleepless night. The DOE was not involved in that stature at that time of the morning. So it started at 8 o'clock and we still sent her to school.
Yeah.
How's that adequate guardianship? How's that adequate supervision? That is neglect at its finest and there is no reprimand?
Right.
You need me to give consent. You need me to come give consent as the parent. But you won't tell me what I'm giving consent for. But because I didn't show up, to not make a bad situation worse when the foster parent negated to answer the phone when I'm trying to get information on my child in crisis because she doesn't want to argue. Because you were wrong. What parent in their right mind would send a child to school hearing voices? I don't give a damn how tired they are.
Yeah.
And then not only was the foster parent tired, my child was tired as well. Because for the president in her stature and her authority to reiterate, I am not at liberty to determine who made what decision. But obviously, the foster parent is exhausted. Let's give her some reprieve. So it's all right that my child is sleep deprived and in active crisis. But that's what your foster parent is. She's okay because she's tired. That's the justification. You gotta be kidding me. So you guys summed it up as because I threatened to put physical harm on her because she basically negated to give my child adequate supervision or adequate care. So yes, I threatened to kick her ass. I did, and actually owned up to it because that would have never happened in my house. And you're gonna tell me this happened after a very good visit that I had. I had a barbecue on the side of my house. And it was just me and my 8-year-old because my 11-year-old has the option to decline family visits based on ODD.
Yeah.
You gotta stop it. You didn't allow me to go to graduation, but I was able to manage to have somebody third party find a way to give me my mothering rights.
Yeah.
And when I realized that, I was excited. I was just talking, and I was talking too much. That was my fault. I relayed to the case planner. I did get to tell my daughter congratulations, and she wasn't mad at me at all. She sounded like she was upset that I actually made contact.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I told my baby congratulations. She was like, oh, you did?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was her response? Like, she was looking for a negative response. She could have something to report back. Like, I don't understand. Like, like I said, anytime. And this case planner is not even licensed. She's a planner, not a worker.
Yeah.
But I have a law degree. Can't practice based on the allegation being mental impairment. So I'm not mentally stable to represent myself.
Yeah.
Out of control. I just don't know, Rob. Like, I'm having a very hard day because at 12:08, my daughter is going to be 9, and this is the first time I'm not there.
Oh.
I can't even say happy birthday. It's very emotionally draining. And these people, they know what they're doing. And I don't understand, as parents, some of them being parents themselves, how could you as a mother, as a grandmother, and as an overseer of children's best interests, restrict interaction based on allegations that you have never investigated?
Yeah.
I don't know. But I do have to kind of sign off. I do have, somebody invited me to an interactive podcast on Facebook today to speak about ACS corruption. So I'm excited.
That sounds great.
I will definitely check in the morning, and I'm just appreciative for the platform Mr. Faith, just to be able to vent and get feedback, because we as parents, we need this to keep us on the right track. That way we don't go to the wayside.
Well, I wonder what happened to Faye. She's completely disappeared. The whole room has gone quiet. The whole room has gone quiet. Faye, if you're out there, can you hear me? Let me try to text her and see what happened.
But I'm gonna give somebody else a chance to talk back to be ready for like 11:15 in New York.
Yeah, I know it's late. I'm so sorry.
I'm trying to hang out. I'm like exhausted. I just like getting less and less sleep, just trying to stay ahead of the day. Just trying to have all the time to make phone calls between 9 and 5, But Mr. Faith, I appreciate you, and you rock as always.
Thank you. I want to help you, and I feel so bad that your children have turned. I mean, that's sad. That's sad.
Yeah, but it's all right. I mean, children are impressionable, and they go whatever situation is going to.
Well, yeah, my daughter, she's a Barbie girl in a Barbie world, and I had the discontinued free Disneyland passes because I was broke, and that disappointed her enough, I guess. I spoiled my kids
Well,
too much. I spoiled them. I gave them
I spoil
everything
my kids
underneath
too.
the
That's why I
sun.
don't understand why they're acting like they never went anywhere or we've never done anything. When you become defiant, behavior like that does not get rewarded. And I am not the foster parent. I'm not going to give you glamour and glitter just to keep you quiet. No.
Right. You're not going to buy the love. You're not going to buy the love.
Right.
And so that's what they're doing. They're trying to buy the love.
Right. I don't hit my children anything. I very rarely raise my voice, but I do take things away. iPad, TV, telephone. And with the obsessive defiant disorder that my 11-year-old displays, it's like she's overly dramatic. She'll stand in the window for 2 hours and scream, "Help me," because I said, "Read the bell." No. And for the foster parents to literally say, in my case, I have to bribe them. So now you're bribing them, but you're not helping me with reunification or co-parenting. You're actually displaying parental alienation, and you are enabling disrespect until you need my signature to protect your safety when my child pulls out weapons on you. I don't know what's going on still. I'm like amazed.
Yeah.
But I just know one of the things you cannot do with foster children in New York City, and this is a big one, you cannot alter their appearance in any way. You cannot cut their hair, give them a piercing or anything like that, and this foster parent has violated that in several cases. And then you put my children on social media. Big no-no.
Yeah.
But there's a reprimand for that with the proof that I'm showing. So I've been reaching out to the commissioner's office as well. So I'm getting a little assistance with that. And I also reached out to the ACLU. Mr. Mike Bart's helped me with that. He rocks too.
Yep.
So, I did go to the commission of human rights in D.C. I'm doing everything that Mr. Davis is telling me to do step by step. Everything that you suggested, Mr. Floss, Mr. Trika, Ms. Georgette, Mr. Rhonda,
Yeah.
I've been watching for 4 years.
Right.
You guys are the greatest. Without you guys, our parents would be lost. So, thank you guys for lifting that weight just to know we're not alone.
Yeah, I agree.
And if it wasn't for social media, it would be a lot more turmoil and separation, honestly.
I just don't.
Looking at this whole suicide here based on family dynamics. New York City has went up 13% within the last 2 years. And that's suicide with the parents and with the children not wanting to be in care and wanting to go home and wait to stay there.
Yeah.
And it's very sad.
Yep.
Nobody's reprimanded for, destroying lives like this. Like, when is this going to end?
I agree.
More lives, innocence have to be.
Let me review my 4 rules real quick for all the new people listening. Rule number 1 is that you need to get yourself an attorney. This is so hard to do without an attorney or do it yourself. Pro se or using a public or a court-appointed attorney is a waste of time. You're not going to win anything. The courts are corrupt, the judges are corrupt, the social worker attorneys are corrupt, the children's attorneys are corrupt. You're dealing with a whole corrupt system. And you need a fighter. And right now, I have a fighter, Mr. Davis, Mr. W. Davis, who can fight CPS, not afraid to stand up to them. He's a family dependency lawyer. He has over 35 years' experience. He has fought CPS in civil lawsuits and won. And so he's a trial attorney. So he has a lot of experience, and he's offering a consultation. All you have to do is call him at 888-888-6582. I want to thank him for providing this podcast, and he will talk to you for 30 minutes for $60. You can't go wrong. He'll help you steer you in the right direction and how to navigate in CPS, because CPS is corrupt. If you know what Alice in Wonderland is, you're like Alice in Wonderland. You fell in a rabbit hole, which is CPS, and you go in all the rooms and you're going nowhere. And they're saying stupid things like off with your head. So you need to get an attorney. And I also say, think about this. Dealing with CPS is like open heart surgery. If you do open heart surgery, you're not going to do it yourself. You're not going to get a family member to do it. You're not going to get the plumber. You're not going to get the auto mechanic. You're going to get a professional doctor that's been to medical school, that's done an internship, that's passed an exam, and is mentoring another doctor before he even attempts to open up your heart. That's what you need to do with CPS. You need to get an attorney, and Mr. Davis is the one. You just call in 888-6582. Tell them that Bob Pace sent you. And when you speak to Mr. Davis, tell them that Bob Pace sent you. And you'll schedule a strategy meeting for 30 minutes for $60. Now, on the bottom of my screen, I have a ticket running that tells you how to get into Mr. Davis's calendar. And what you do is you type in and start off with Calendly, CAL. Let me see. I got the wrong message up there. I thought it was the right. Here it is. You want to go to Calendly, CALENDLY.com /law office of VWD /Bob Pace. That's what you want to be in. That's what you want to be in. That'll get you right to his calendar. Now, rule 2 is you need to get a notebook going. You need to keep track of all your paperwork. I didn't, but you need to. It's a 6-inch binder, thick, 3-ring binder, and you need subject tabs. You stuff it with full of college rule notebook paper, and then you put subject tabs. And one of the first ones is called the incidents. And every incident you have related to your case, you need to write down the date, the time, the location, and the people involved. Then you want to describe what transpired, what was the incident about. And then you want to put the outcome. How was it resolved? If it's not resolved, come back later and fill it in. Then skip a couple lines to the next incident and so forth. And that way you keep track of what was happening. Another subject tab could be your court papers. Every time you get a court paper, you punch 3 holes and put it in that divider and keep track of them. Keep arranging dates. You know, the oldest date first, and then as each date comes in, you put it thereafter. Then another subject matter could be info and all the places you visit or looked at, you know, the people you talk to, the websites. You want to write that down and put that in that sub-tab. Then another tab could be your parent programs that you've taken. Make a log of all the classes that you've taken and then put all the certificates attached and punch holes and do so. So keeping track of paperwork is very important, and you should really do so. I strongly recommend that. Now, rule number 3 is you say no to social workers, and you do not talk to policemen or social workers. It's be cordial, but yes, no answers. And they do not come in your house unless they have a warrant or the children in imminent danger. You don't let them in. Do not give them permission. It's your castle. You need to have representation, so you need to have an attorney. So you have to do rule number 1. Then rule number 3 is to not let them in. Now, at any time, if you're outside, tell them that if you feel uncomfortable, tell them I need to speak to my attorney first before I go anything further. Take their name, ask for business cards, look at their badge. The police will have a badge number. The social worker will have an ID. So you got to make sure you write down all the info because they can lie. They will lie. All you have to do is picture the kind of social workers. And I told you about the pink ladies, but I don't think I told you about the social worker in Chicago, Illinois, that put on her Facebook an ad from 1848 that said "Black children for sale." Now that was gross. That was written during the time of before the Civil War, but it was really wrong. And why she's putting it on her Facebook of 2024, I don't understand that. She's a black lady too. So she said black children for sale. So I don't know what she was implying. But again, these social workers are bad manners, bad habits. They'll lie to you. They're not transparent. They'll run you over big time. They'll run you over big time. Also, be very careful of them taking their children unless they're in imminent danger. Or you don't have to give them permission to take your children. They do not need to go. And if they want them, they'll have to have a court order, which very specifically tells them who they are, who they're investigating, where they're going to investigate at, what date and time, and what they're going to do. They're going to take away your children. All that's going to be on the warrant. It's going to be signed by the judge, and it's got embossed with a signature or a stamp. And it's very important because they'll use old warrant papers. They lie and cheat. So you know that. There's also medical trafficking you got to watch out for. They have a tendency to bring your child in for, you're worried about the high temperature overnight and so forth. Next thing you know, your children are taken. Because there are social workers at those hospitals that will do that. And on top of that, when you're having a child, if you test positive, they don't need to come and take the baby away. You need to get that address. But it's wrong. They're going to try to do so. And you tell them you don't have permission to come in my home, period. And don't bother talking to them. It's a waste of time. And lastly, is rule number 4 is that you should research your CPS system where you live. You should find everything is about them and what they do and what they don't do and what their weaknesses are and the strength. Because you have to be really, really careful because your children are very precious. And you wouldn't be sitting here fighting if you didn't care about your children. And what they're doing right now is that they are taking the children and setting them off to be adopted. And it's wrong. It's wrong. So those are my 4 rules. And again, I want to thank all my listeners who listened in there. I don't know what happened to you, Faye. I've tried to talk to you during this cast. KK was on the phone talking about the case, and she needs all the help. She's got her kids turned against her, and she's wondering what to do. She wants to get her custody back, and she's trying her hard. She couldn't go to her daughter's graduation or her birthday, wish her happy birthday. Her daughter's 8 years old, and it hurts. Children are young, and they're so precious. And I know all of you are really hurting there. So I care about you, and I think it's important that that you keep fighting. Don't give up. I'm on again tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. That's 8 o'clock in the morning. And I'll be on for an hour, but please call in then, and we can talk more on the show. Again, I want to thank all the people. I want to thank KK from New York that called in, and Faye from Richmond, Kentucky that called in. It was great to hear you guys and talk about the cases, and all you listeners out there and your emojis and hearts and smiley faces and thumbs up and stuff. Thank you for all that. I appreciate the interaction of this podcast. And I thank you very much for all listening. And God bless you all. Keep fighting for your children. This is Bob Pace signing off, and I'll see you.